Hey folks, this is Matt once again, and today I'm bringing you a review once again thanks to Ben Exodus 1. This was a film that I had seen a long time ago, and I actually have another DVD, but I'll get to that. It's a piece of shit DVD. And one thing led to another, and I found that on YouTube, this film was actually uploaded, but it was very crystal clear quality, especially compared to my DVD. I'm like, where the hell did this come from, and this and that. Somehow I got back to Ben, that's this one. He's like, hey, would you like a copy? I said, sure. And he did, and he actually wanted to hear my thoughts. I wasn't going to review it, but he's like, hey, I'd like to hear your thoughts. I'm like, okay. And of course, that is Mutant, which this is a really shitty cover too. But at least the picture, you can actually see what's going on. But it's a pretty lackluster cover. He needs your blood to survive, but the way they have he is not just one person, Mutant. I mean, really, the title should be called Mutants, because it's more than one, but whatever. But it stars Hauser and Hopkins. And Hauser, he's an actor I enjoy. He was the bad guy in Vice Squad. I even enjoy him in Watchers 3. Yeah. It's a B movie, but yeah. Predator ripoff, yeah. But I like it because I like Hauser. And usually he plays the bad guy in a lot of films. It's never. There's a couple films he's played the good guy. I haven't seen all of them though. But I enjoy Hauser as an actor. He was in a small role in a film called Rubber, which I enjoyed. He's the lead in this, and you also have Hopkins, who is another very talented actor. Who he's been, if you look at Hopkins, he's been in quite a few flicks. Just go on IMDb, type in Hopkins. And these two actually worked together in a film down the road after this called Nightmare at Noon, which I wasn't the biggest fan of Nightmare at Noon. It kind of dealt with, not really the same thing, but you deal with people who have been affected in some way, shape, or form and pretty much go apeshit. Only this is for a different matter. Now, before I talk about the film, a little bit about, first off, I was mentioning about the DVD. This is the original DVD I had. This is the one that I found in the United States. I had seen this film long ago before this, but it was a very dark. It was very dark. So I thought, okay, I'm going to buy the DVD so I can actually see what the fuck's going on, and that's not the case. See, there's pictures on the back here, and this is what the creatures actually look like, the mutants. Pasty-faced zombies, pretty much. And these pictures are more better lit than the actual movie on this DVD. So if you want to see this film, do not get this DVD. One, it's so... AVPR has better lighting than... and it's not the movie's fault, as I found out. It's the DVD's fault. Remember Aliens vs. Predator Requiem? You couldn't see what the fuck's going on? Although that is not the DVD, it's the people who made the movie. They fucked that up. Here, from what I understand, this movie is kind of public domain. So I guess they just said, you know what, fuck it, just put it out there. Not only are you don't have a picture that you can't tell what the fuck's going on, so sometimes I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Something happened. I guess I'll picture it in my brain. But they took a cover from a different movie, because there was a different movie called Forbidden World, who also had another title called Mutant. So like, whatever, just put it on there. So now you have a shitty version of a xenomorph in a movie that has nothing to do with aliens. Because this was the cover for Forbidden World, also known as Mutant. And real enough, this has a few titles. At least one called Night Shadows. In fact, if you go on IMDb, you'll probably find it under Night Shadows. It's a 1984 film. So by the way, don't get this fucking DVD. Piece of shit. But this DVD that Ben Exodus 1 was nice enough to send me, plus it's on YouTube. Just type in Mutant 1984 or Night Shadows 1984. You'll find it. Because, again, from what I understand, it's public domain. But if you want a DVD, this is the best way to do it. Again, the cover sucks, but oh well. At least the movie I can see. But directing-wise, it's weird because this came on with two directors, but not in the way, well, probably in the way you think. Originally, it was directed by a guy, I wanted to get his name right. It was Mark Rosman, or Rosman. This is a guy who originally he had directed the original The House on Sorority Row, I believe. The House on Sorority Row. And actually, he directed a film I enjoyed called Evolver. That's a film where you have this robot that basically, one thing leads to another, goes apeshit crazy. And actually, it's voiced by William H. Macy. And you also have Q from Star Trek The Next Generation. He's in the film as well. And I believe he directed Evolver. And I liked Evolver. I liked that. But yeah, his big break was The House in Sorority Row. And then he did this. But he pretty much got fired because the company didn't like the way how much time he took shooting, from what I understand. Maybe this is a different story though, because they could be lying out of their ass, but that's the story that I read. And basically, that guy has gone to do a Cinderella story, The Perfect Man, Lizzie McGuire. He worked on that, so on and so forth. So he was replaced by another guy named Judd Bud Cardos, which is a guy I've liked some of his movies. He did Kingdom of the Spiders with William Shatner. He also did The Dark, which is this crazy movie with William Devane. Just The Dark, 1979. Just look at the trailer. I mean, you got some guy, it's kind of a creature, shoots fucking laser beams out of his eyes. No, I mean laser beams out of his eyes. And it's a crazy movie. But I like those two films, as quirky as they could be, and I like this film as well as a B movie way. Now, I know the writers of this film, which are these two guys who I believe they worked sort of on the low food chain at MGM, and they got this idea. And I think originally the idea for the film was it was going to be about germ warfare, and a lab technician got infected, and like their big influence was Stephen King's The Stand and that general area. But I want to get the writers' names because I was fine with what they did. It says screenplay by Peter Z. Orton and Michael Jones and John C. Cruz. Or Crees. I know John C. Cruz, I think this is the only thing he wrote, unfortunately. He went on to be like a production accountant. But if you look at IMDb and other places, I know he talks about how the producer, the big guy, Edward L. Montoro, which his company actually got fucked up after the release of this film. Apparently, this film didn't do as well as they thought it would, which I don't know what big notion you had with the Mutant, but his company got fucked up, and I think for what I read, he Montoro like took some money and ran and was never heard from again or something like that. I don't know. I don't know the full story. I wasn't there. I wasn't the fly on the wall of that. But I know that he was a guy who wanted changes. Like, they weren't supposed to be pasty-faced white zombies, pretty much, what they became to be. There were title changes. Like there was Night Shadows, and then you had the title Mutant. And they said the title Mutant is from, it's a one-word title like Alien. Alien and Mutant. And instead of germ warfare, the plot became toxic waste pollution. And whatever the changes were, I still like the film as a B movie way. Now, get into what the film's actually about. Yeah, Wayne's Hauser and his brothers. Brothers played by an actor named Lee Montgomery. They're going across, passing through town, going from A to B. And Wayne's Hauser, he's kind of a hothead type of character, but I still liked him as an actor. And he's having fun with his brother, and they're driving. One thing leads to another, and these rednecks in their pickup truck fuck with them, and Wayne's Hauser and his brother go over here and crash their car. And the car's fucked up, and they gotta hitch a ride and get their car fixed. One thing leads to another, they find those rednecks again and get into a bar fight. But then Bo Hopkins, as the sheriff, comes in and straightens things out. Amidst all this, Wayne's Hauser brother went while outside. So he went into an alleyway and found some dead body there. And he's like, what the fuck's going on? And got Wayne's Hauser. And then when the sheriff got there, the brother tells Bo Hopkins, hey, there's a dead body. When they go back there, it's gone. But then Bo Hopkins finds this certain substance, which leads into later. And the sheriff goes, you know what? Go over here. Stay. This lady has a room for you. You don't go there. Then when it's morning, you get the fuck out of town. And like Wayne's Hauser is like, you know what, fine. Because Wayne's Hauser doesn't want trouble. He wants to stay out of it, while his brother's like a little more adamant. But Wayne's Hauser's like, it's not our problem. Let's just move on. And, understandable, in a way. But they work well as brothers. They have some fun back and forth. Like, you can buy that they liked each other. You can buy that they're brothers. But then in the middle of the night, the brother gets taken under the bed. There's something under the brother's bed. He just grabbed, yanked down, and he's screaming horribly. Of course, you're wondering, he's screaming, how the fuck does Wayne's Hauser in another room not hear it? But I don't know. So, oh well, it's a B movie. Ah! Great, he's in another room, but if I'm in a wherever the hell I'm at, I'm hearing screaming a couple rooms over. I would hope I would hear it, otherwise I'm going deaf. But whatever. But he wakes up and doesn't know where his brother's at, and the old lady says, well, he wasn't here when I got here. He starts looking for his brother, meets up with this girl played by Jodie Medford is her name, whose father is sick, and she's helping tend this bar, but she's also a school teacher. And basically they look into finding Wayne's Hauser's brother and finding out what the fuck's going on in this town. And what you find out is you have some assholes dumping toxic waste. It's polluting the shit, and it's affecting people. And you also have Bo Hopkins as a sheriff trying to figure out what's going on. And you get a little bit of the past where something happened, he's been bumped down, he drinks a lot, until it gets to a time where it's nice that, tastes liquor and dumps it down, he's ready for action. Now, this is not an action-packed movie, and it's definitely not a gory, violent movie. So, it's not. I don't know what this rated. It shouldn't be rated R. If it is, it should. I mean, basically, what these guys turn to, like I showed there, there's a female doctor. She explained it. I didn't really get 100% the science behind it, but it's something to the effect of this gunk, it feeds on red blood cells and not white blood cells, or something to that effect. I just know that sometimes people, you have these bladder effects and there's bubbling up in their skin, and you have like a fat, the skin pulses and stuff. A grand low budget, but better than CGI in my opinion. And they don't like this light, let alone the sun, but they're sensitive to light. And basically, Bo Hopkins, Wayne's Hauser, this girl have to figure out what the fuck's going on, and then when they do, they have to figure out how to stop it. And I don't know, this might go into two parts. If so, so be it. But what I liked about the film, it is low budget. It's not tons of action. It's not tons of gore or anything like that. What these zombies do, they'll strangle you, but then when they strangle you, there's like burns. Like you see smoke come out and shit. And something about how the pressure's too much in these individuals, that in the palm of their hand, it like breaks open. You have this gunk. I don't know if it's like yellow, white gunk comes out. It's almost acidic. Like there's a point where Wayne's Hauser and the girl are in this car, and they're trying to get in. They actually put their hands up against the windshield and the glass in order to burn through and try to strangle their ass. And like, okay, I don't get the signs and shit behind it, but okay, having acid for blood in a way. You know, maybe that covers more truthful than it was. It's like a human version of a xenomorph. It's acid for blood, and I guess that's why they want red blood cells. I guess because they're losing them. But actually, I'm going to stop you here and stay tuned for part 2. So you actually get this is sort of the build up about the film, but now you'll get the actual opinion on the film. So stay tuned for part 2.